we're in a certain pub, and guess which pub it is? It's the Fox on the Downs. And some of you might actually realise, I'm having Guinness today, that is why we're not having wine. It's like mother's milk to me. Some of you might recognise this particular location because we made a film here a little while ago called The Book of Mauritius, which was a sort of esoteric, surreal. That's all I can say about it because I played a monk and there was a nun and we had Betty Swallocks in it as well, enough said. But we're here back again because it's one of our favourite locations, and of course there's food and wine and booze on tap, which I adore. But today I've got a special guest who I've worked with many times. We've got a bit of history, and what we're going to do is talk about Fogg. We're going to talk about theatre, and we're going to put the world to rights. So, I'm very good to say, my chum from yesteryear, over the years, we've known each other. We've even done a film together. We're going to do a TV today, and his name is the Murray Simon. The Murray Simon. Now, I've just asked Murray, we met purely by accident, pure chance, when for some ridiculous reason near Asda's they decided to do Phileas Fogg's World of Adventures.
Yeah.
And I was the first Phileas Fogg, but they didn't want me to play Phileas Fogg because apparently I was too aggressive, according to one of their directors, which is when they put me on front of house, and of course that is my raison d'etre because I love being, because you can make your own show, but you
free reign, weren't you?
You became a Phileas Fogg out of God knows how many?
Blimey, to begin with, so I think I remember the first day we started there was the chap, was it Damien? Which is a good start, as a good name for somebody who's taking over that place, was basically saying they were wanting.
Oh, do you mean the director guy?
Yes.
Oh, you mean that Toby?
No, not him. It was the other guy who hired everybody, because you were part of the first intake, weren't you?
Well, I was there. There was another guy with long hair, which wasn't an actor, but he looked the part, although he was quite slight. I can't remember his name. Had been sort of on salary there for months, and they hadn't bloody opened it. So what was he? I couldn't understand it. I was like, what's he standing there for, all dressed up like Phileas Fogg, and not a fucking punter in sight, you know?
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Are you ready to meet the great Phileas Fogg? Here's your ticket.
Hello there. I'm Phileas Fogg. Are you ready to come with me around the world and meet Father Christmas?
What do you want for Christmas this year? No, but Barry was fine. He was lovely. At least he had the honesty to turn around and and he got paid for being there.
Yeah.
And there were carpenters and all sorts of things going. They were still building it. And he's sitting in the middle of this maelstrom, which is basically a building site, dressed as bloody Phileas Fogg.
It was fantastic.
And I didn't go to an audition. I was headhunted.
Oh, really?
And what happened was, what was the name of the owner?
Graham.
Graham happened to be there, and his lovely wife. They were really nice people. I mean, I think they started out in trampolines or something like that. They used to have a trampoline place. What was interesting was, he said, "Oh, Mark, can you come down?" I just happened to be at the right day or the right time because there had maybe these girls in who'd done some work and they were bottles of red wine, so I was in there like a bloody shot.
They were very good at that sort of thing.
They were very generous, a bit like this director. Cheers. So he said, do you mind playing Phileas Fogg for the weekend? There's only going to be one of the guys that put a hell of a lot, millions we're talking about.
I know, the sets cost about, what was it, 2.5 million?
2.5 million.
And
his wife, and can you just go around? I said, well, I don't know the script. He said, well, just read it.
There isn't one.
Wait, there was scripts, but
what's that?
No,
I was never shown
They
it.
kept on changing every 5. The cast got huge, then suddenly it went down to one person. That was Phileas Fogg.
Yeah.
There was no one else there at all.
Yeah, because I was a part of that second drive. It was the first time I've ever put in Indeed.com actor and something's popped up. So I came along for the audition and it was, that was September 2017.
That's when we met.
That was when we
Isn't
met.
that weird? It just goes to show they had no idea how to cast anything.
Oh,
And they
yeah,
put
they
it in
weren't.
what is normally a secretarial recruitment thing, Indeed, to get actors to play Phileas Fogg at the old police place.
Yeah, but my God.
Custody suite.
Part of the set was in the old morgue.
Yeah.
It was
You just seen some of the acting.
I know.
But, you know, and we arrived there, and I walk in, you know, think, oh, I'm loving all this.
Yeah.
And where's the red wine? And they had a bar, didn't they?
I have the grand piano in it.
Yeah, which I played a
Yeah.
lot, you know, because I can play the piano.
It was a brilliant looking place. They really
It was
went to town.
stunning. I mean, 2.4 million just for the sets.
On the ground floor.
And all that.
And space everywhere that they could
Yeah.
use to develop it. And
Load of space.
so much potential there.
And no fucking audience.
It was brilliant that first the first day when we set it up and we was trying to, they basically just threw us into the sets and said, go. We're like, what do we do? Make something up, just do something.
Well, I'm walking around with the, I'm dressed in my, that
You want
silver
the
one
front
I've got
coats,
with the
yeah.
dude. I look nothing like Phileas Fogg at all. I look like the Candy Man, you know, and Candy Man. Right, and he just went around with it. And the guy, I think his name was Bill, who had put a hell of a lot of money into it. He was obviously an estate agent. He had pots. I mean, he had so much money. He was in the building trade and all that. After we finished, we went and had a drink in the bar upstairs. And he said, well, it needs a bit more pizzazz. And I thought, well, fuck you. I said, I only came in on Friday. I've been given a script and a clipboard and all that on my own to take you around the world in 80 days, put down into 60 minutes.
And back then there was nothing in the rooms, was there? It was just set. There
It
was
was
no
just-
games,
there was no games,
interaction.
nothing at all.
Apart from the Egypt room that had that screen, that was the only thing.
Well, they had the thing on the, wasn't it they had that thing where we go on a boat or a ship?
Oh yes,
and
the
it had that-
interactive thing.
The interactive thing.
Didn't
and all
do anything,
that.
just made people feel motion sickness.
It looked like an episode of either Star Trek
Yeah.
or Lost in Space. No, everything's tipping like that, but it
Oh,
wasn't.
that.
You just had to pretend that you...
And then they had that spiral thing in the
Oh, God, it made me
that
sick.
made every single time. So many people vomited in that thing.
Well, I remember they had another director coming, didn't they? I think his name was John.
John Knowles.
And he, was it something like that? And he said, oh, well, you can't play Phileas Fogg if you're going to be sick. And I said, excuse me, sir, I don't want to be rude. Don't be condescending to me.
Vomit's part of it.
You know, really, if I'm finding it difficult to go through, how do you think young kids are going to take that to go? And all it is a tube. They have it as Disneyland, and it goes round like that, but you're on the straight the whole time, and literally it completely confuses
Oh yeah, your
brain.
brain just completely goes out, doesn't it?
You know, and you start doing this, and you're not actually doing it. He couldn't see that, and he got the sack, didn't he?
He did.
And he got
A lot of people, because that was the second intake, and I think they had around about,
it was
about 50 people,
50
wasn't there?
people.
It's huge.
Or you can take them round Marc and be Phileas Fogg, and they did it once, and I can't remember the lines. You know, that ice cave bit.
Oh.
I couldn't remember the lines.
Through
You just
your-
sitting there like that with a smoke, you know, right in front of me, and all the other actors standing there, and I can't fucking remember it. And he said, well, you're far too aggressive to play this part. And I said, oh, really? Really?
Didn't last long, did it?
Well, he didn't. You know, the writing was on the wall with him. You came in, and another chum of ours I met was the superlative, if slightly, put it this way, he's the shortest Father Christmas or Phileas Fogg I ever saw, darling.
My little homunculus.
Little Dan.
Little Dan.
From up north.
Who should be here.
He should. I'd love him to be here. You could go out with him. And he's sitting there, and, you know, I remember we went out to a pub, just the three of us, up St James's
Yes,
Street.
yes.
And he's sitting there, and this bird comes down. Oh, you did enjoyed it. And he's sitting there, God, I'll tell you, Eric, I really fancy a wank.
He was the most disgusting person, but he was such good quality.
It was good quality.
His improvisational skills were amazing.
Do you remember, because the segment, I remember one segment which I really, when I played Fogg, was rather good to go and do, because I had to pretend to have a whiskey shot and was in the cowboy thing. But there was it wasn't a pretend, and I kept on saying historically, I was looking at, they put all these American flags up, which seemed to have 50 stars on them. I said, where is this set? It's about 1880, is it? Something like that. And I said, there were 13 states.
Well, ignore the fact that the flags were all made of nylon as well.
And all that. And I said, you know, and they wouldn't be like that, it would have been a cross and all that. And it was the modern version of today's, so they're probably, because, I mean, they spent a lot of sets. They bought a lot of costumes and all that, but, you know, but that particular scene where he's playing
Oh God, he was horrible.
I'm doing that bit, taking the thing and making it all cam and go, doing a bit Vincent Price in one of those anthology horror things from Poe. He just made me laugh.
Yeah.
He was, well, still is, filthy.
Yes, he's up in Manchester at the moment. I think he's playing Henry VIII.
I know. It must be the shortest Henry yet. He could have actually maintained an opportunity of going to be an Ewok.
He could have done. He was the right.
Mind you, they gave him a taller hat.
They did. Yes, it was. God, yes, because they used to pair me up with him. So it was Big Fog and Little Fog, and they just used to send us out into Brighton to go flying. And we must have walked all over Brighton doing that for the first couple of months. We were everywhere. But we did a lot of flying in a lot of pubs of Brighton. We got known for these two Victorian gentlemen.
Tell me, all that work you did. You know, you've got a cast of 50 odd people. And it was not badly written, was it, and all that?
No, it turned into a nice little event.
And slowly, the cast seemed to disappear.
Yeah. It's
and I think the majority, not the Fox or Leeds, a lot of those support artists were on like basic minimum wage, weren't they?
Well, you think when
and a lot of them weren't actors.
Yeah. About 15 different characters in the first couple of scripts. There was practically an actor in every single room. Sometimes 2 or 3. And that carried on for about a month. And then it got less, and by the end I think it was just one actor going around the whole
Playing
thing.
Playing
Phileas Fogg. And it's,
the idea was a wonderful one, but I remember you going home. I mean, they had these wonderful ideas of having a shuttle bus from Brighton Station.
We did that for a month.
Out to Asda's, which is right by the A27, and all that. And when it was that second or 50 odd, they would put it this way: if you got one person go round as a punter, you were lucky. There were more actors than there were audience.
Yeah, the cast diminished very quickly, but we ended up with a very strong group of people in there.
Oh yeah, I mean, one or two people I know who I wouldn't say are friends, unlike myself. You know, who you're on Chums status. There's one or two there who shouldn't have been there. Because
they wanted to give acting a go.
Well, not only that, it's some of them who you know they've done a spit and a cough, and they think that they're up that rotten old lad going up the doodah thinking their shit doesn't stink. Well, as you know and I know, it's a bloody job.
Oh yeah, and it was a hard one as well.
And it was hard. And a lot of it, and one of the
14-hour shifts, isn't it?
reasons that it was hard, because you've got the adrenaline to do it. As you go, God knows how you played Phileas Fogg. And you might have, when it got a bit busy, you might do 3 shows.
Well, you do them back to back, wouldn't
Back
you?
to back.
End up a show
And there was
lasting
like about
an
10-minute break
20
between.
minute. Not even that sometimes.
To reset everything.
Finish and then run around and start the next one immediately.
And there were several other Foggs, wasn't there? Because you might not do it, they might try, but if you were the only Fogg that came in, you had to do the fucking lot.
Really fun.
And I'm out there like Lady Bleeding Muck with my top hat and all that, and said, oh hello, yes, I'm Sir Charles Gray. All that. So I had to use Charles Gray from Diamonds Are Forever, my chum Charles Gray. And do that lovely voice. I said, it's a bit like going into a time machine. At the age days, we got down to 60 minutes.
Yeah.
No, so we made a camp of it. But your energy, fuck, how did you do it?
There was a lot of caffeine and a lot of alcohol. Just fueled the whole thing, basically. It was so exhausting. I think that was possibly one of the toughest jobs I've done. Because it just was relentless. But it was also one of the most rewarding. It was so much fun. And some of the people that we met there were just fantastic. Barry eventually became quite a close friend.
Oh yeah, he was a nice chap. He was a nice chap.
But Dan and I just clicked.
It was almost that was almost sexual. No, you became. I can tell you what it was like for me as the viewer looking. Although we were all chums together, you became like brothers.
We did.
You were big Fogg and little Fogg. I mean, you've never seen it. To see them dressed together was the funniest thing you've ever seen in your life. Of course, I was in the middle on a broomstick.
Yep. But we ended up trying to start up our own theatre company together, didn't we? It was
we were going to do that with one of the ladies who was delightful, where we met.
Rose.
The
dyke.
Never put your finger in one, you never know. You don't want to staunch the juices.
No, she was fantastic.
We met some really good. One or two, as I said, were, and I won't mention the names, it's not fair, were really not people person, and they didn't actually make the team element of it. They all felt, because they happened to have done some stupid advert in 1821, darling, probably doing nylons, they thought their shit didn't stink, and they were investing, oh, I've been doing it, it's that sort of old Danny LaRue thing. All that, oh, darling, it's not so much a show, it's an evening's entertainment, I'm 35 years in the business, with a load of fellas in the arse. And it was terrible, but one or two that really knew what they were doing.
Yeah. It did, and they did end up with a very, very good product in the end of it. But it was just
great product,
playing a part of it.
No audience.
No audience. It was just in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Completely the wrong place. But they do have the new venue now over in Hastings.
Over in Hastings.
Yeah, Owens. It's called Owens.
Oh yes,
yeah.
Owens.
The new Disney. But it sounds like it's going to be quite a good venture for them now. They've got a nice arcade system going on, a little cafe.
And that's in where is it in?
It's bang in the middle of the town. I mean, literally, you just go through into the train station.
It's the old
Debenhams building.
Oh look, a different location, a different seat.
Bloody hot. Good coffee here. Thanks.
She's not been well.
No.
Funny enough, in this particular seat, we did a film here called The Book of the Rishon.
That sounds very intriguing. Like you played a monk. You.
Yeah.
Let me be your confessor.
Confess to what?
Do you have anything to confess to?
No. No, I don't. Who are you? At one point, as you said, we were going to do a show.
We were.
Play all of us with that lovely lady and Dan, you and me and
it was,
all that.
What was it, The Adventures of Van Helsing, Igor and a Dyke. Which was, I didn't come
I
up
was
with
playing the
that.
Dyke.
We were going to have you as the narrator, weren't we? We were going to
I was
you
going
on
to do
and-
Charles Draven, wasn't
yeah.
I? You know, straight out of Rocky Horror.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
that was the idea, to have this sort of camp.
Where there would be Dan and I as he is Igor, this grotesque little thing that was spawned from a goat that I had found and reared. As
I don't think
Wasn't
Dan was born from a goat. But, you know, as you said earlier, he must be the shortest Henry VIII.
He must be. And then we were going to have poor Rose playing every other character and just bully them.
And me probably sitting there, you know, with my script.
getting drunk.
Don't have to do anything, I don't think, just have to read it, you know.
It was the perfect role. It was just unfortunate it never materialised. Dan
How
had to
long
move
did
back
that
up
go
north.
on for?
Well, it's still going on. I'm
Oh.
still part of the theatre company. Unfortunately, Ministry of Biscuits had to come to a close because a very good friend of mine and member of the cast, David Moundfield, sadly passed on just before lockdown. Actually, he got esophageal cancer, and that was the end of that one. But we've got another musical comedy that we're touring around, Lord God.
Lord God.
Lord God. It's sort of like it's basically Jeeves and Wooster. It's a Jeeves and Wooster parody of where what if God, an utter twit, turned up in hell.
Are you playing the utter twit?
I am the utter twit. I'm very well cast as well, I have to say. But it's all by the same writers as well. So it's Brian Mitchell and Philip Reeve.
Because that was from the original.
That's right, yes.
If you've got something that's consistent in theatre and it's good writing, because I mean I've said this on every show I've done, you know, the most important thing, people come out always with the writing, or say it's always the acting or whatever.
That's the writing.
Yeah, that's it, but the most important thing is the audience, because without that, you know...
I've got a show.
Well, it's like Adam Melra Fringe, isn't it? They say if there's more cast on stage than there is in the audience, don't bother going on.
No, turn it off.
You know.
And I've done that a few times.
Oh, that's all right. We've got a night off now.
Yeah, we haven't done
So
that
where
for
do you
TV.
turn this at the moment?
At the moment, we've been touring all over the south coast.
When's your next one? Or this will go out?
Well, Lord God's on a bit of a hiatus at the moment. We're shelving that. At the moment, we're on another play, which we just did in Brighton Fringe called Underdogs.
Oh, I didn't see that.
No, you haven't seen any of mine. He never turns up. Invite you, you never come.
What? I love the actor friend Sarah Mann.
Oh, she's wonderful.
And she actually wished you good luck.
Oh, that's it, yeah.
We don't need any fucking luck to do this, darling, I can tell you that. But she's just done a boat, which is the open air theatre. She's just done
Waiting for God?
Waiting for God, which
Yeah.
is not a take off. It is just basically a concatenated version of the TV series and certain elements
Yeah, I
that are in it.
An old
It
college
was-
alumni's in that one as well. I
Brilliant.
think Sarah Barfoot. It's playing the daughter.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And very kindly, she put on Facebook, anyone who wants to come see the show, I've got 2 free tickets. I was in there, you know.
yeah, like a shot.
Fucking paid thing and like that and all that. And she said, I said, I bet it's gone into down. No, you were first on my list anyway. And we went to see it, and it was fantastic. And of course, my friend Daniel Hill was in the TV series, you know, playing Harvey.
Oh, of course, right.
And I said, come down and see this. We said, this is good. And of course, it's too far away. But it was lovely if you had turned up, you know,
Yeah,
to watch that. Because there was a Graham Crowden and all that wonderful TV show.
And it's such a difficult. As much as I love the boat, it's such a difficult venue to play as well. That's open air. You got the wind.
Have you
cutting
played
back. Played it a few times. Yeah.
It has a sound. It's a sound.
Yeah, because you can find the sweet spot because it's
It's right. Apparently, it's right at the
front. Yeah, because it's an amphitheatre,
in the round,
but a thrust.
Yeah.
Which.
And if the wind's in the wrong direction,
blows you into the trees.
No matter how able you are to project, they can hear you over, you know, St Bartholomew's West, but they can't hear you on stage.
No, because we ended up doing the musical there twice and singing in that place as well.
What musical was that?
That was again the Ministry of the Biscuits and Lord God. We did it there.
Can you sing then?
I can do a bit. I'm an actor who can hold a tune. Not bad.
Hold a tune.
Yeah, won't see me in the West End anytime soon, but it's.
Right.
Unless, of course, this Underdogs takes off, which is then we're taking up to London
Well,
in
why
November.
not?
Yeah.
You know, and if you've got a good house and people are enjoying it and all,
Yes,
but it is, of course, I always say the word of mouth.
It is. Oh, it won awards.
You know.
We didn't even know that it was up for awards and it won a, which is a
Did
it's a
you
good
win?
indication.
What did you win?
We won Best Play in the Fringe.
In Brighton
Yeah.
this year?
Mm.
Oh, well
That's
done,
the
you.
first bleeding award I've ever won, and it's about bloody time.
Well, you should have had won an award for dressing up and walking around
Tell me about it, yeah.
Fogg with little Dan.
Not
Yeah.
getting targeted every day. I'm surprised.
Have you got anything else coming up?
At the moment, it's just little plays and bits and bobs. Maybe a couple of films coming up, little individual projects. So it's making your own work now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean
You can't got to do it.
that's the whole point of that, and anyone thinks that they're going to be famous, you know.
Good luck.
You know, it is that, and I've said it so many times, sorry if I'm repeating myself, it is that the Warhol 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to be a celebrity.
Spread it out as long as you can.
Celebrating what lack of talent. But
just
there
say as
are
well.
people, you know, we have an actress on Zalika, Gillian, who has done, she's just done the film Duff in Edinburgh, and does a one-woman show, and she goes, somewhere in London she does it, almost like a residency. Brilliant actress, you know. Considered too. But, you know, when you know and I know somebody's good at, pardon me, the craft of performance, you know, it's the situation of understanding. You've got to be part of a team. You can't just be in a situation where, oh, it's the big I am business, because that's not going to work.
It never does.
Yeah.
It was always taught that when I was at drama school, that it's not your acting ability, it's not your job, it's 9 out of 10 times when you're getting a job, it's whether we can work with you. And whether you are, because you can have the greatest actor in the world, if they can't get along with a cast, they're never going to work. And it's, well, they will, but everyone can hate them. So it's, that's one of the Phileas Fogg people.
The horror stories, I won't mention any names,
No,
I know,
no.
as you know, I know one or two quite well-known people who are delightful, and elements have sometimes been one or two of these well-known people and I get together and have a few beverages or whatever. There's this almost vulgar propensity they go on about their agent all the time. They're always going on about their agent, or they're going about being a professional, which is a word I fucking hate.
Yeah, I've seen
But
the-
I'm a professional. Well, so is the plumber, but sometimes he could be an awful lot more.
Says who?
You know, it could be much more, not interesting, but important than you just farting about on stage. It is that stuff I can't bear about. But you love the craft. You
Yeah.
have that capability. That's what I mean. If I was back in my days as a casting director, I wouldn't have no qualms whatsoever of employing you without an audition.
Thank you.
Because I wouldn't need to do it.
Yeah.
Because we work together, we get on well together.
Well, this is where most of my work has come from. Anyway, I think out of auditioning, I've only ever gotten about 2 or 3 jobs. The rest has always been with people that I've worked with or socialised with or have seen me doing work.
So I know that you know you like the theatre and all that. Probably not at boat because they can't hear the fuck I say. But you know, because I know you've done films, you've done that. I've done quite a bit myself. But at the end of the day, what's your favourite genre within performance of show business?
It's got to be theatre, hasn't it? It's where it all started.
Well, that's where you get your craft.
It is.
That's
where
the
you cut
difference. That's where you
cut
get your
teeth
craft. People say, "Oh, I'm working in television." And when you get your no. You might get fame on television, but
You'll get the money, certainly.
As I say many times, they've got friends in EastEnders to get paid back with like being in the army. And films, if you get the right part, of course, you can make a lot of money out of it.
There is that. I mean, I'd have to say, definitely theatre. I love theatre, particularly comedy.
Because each performance is different.
It is, and the adrenaline boost and the reaction from an audience, you can't top that. There's nothing that sort of feels like that. On the other foot, I'm a huge fan of voice work. I enjoy voiceover, particularly in computer games, which is a avenue that I've been branching down.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, there's a lot.
I do quite a bit of voiceover myself. Not always as Kenneth Williams.
He does pop out quite a lot.
But no, voice work is better. I mean, what I love, you know, and certainly working for our lovely director Stephen and all, he knows me so well. We've done so many projects together now. We do tend to understand each other very well, and certainly when it comes down to doing imagery, it's quite surreal stuff that Zoe could do, and occasionally comedy, but it's always a little bit very much off the wall, and of course whatever it says on the script, you can improv it, as long as you get the gist.
Yeah, it's got the freedom.
That's idea.
He's nodding very subtly in the back there, trying to escape the room.
And I'm well known because I love outtakes. Fuck it. But unfortunately, I don't seem to do many outtakes. People around me seem to do it.
One take wonder, all right.
Well, no, because if you're recording a film, the scene is done several times, maybe on 3 cameras, but those cameras do move around, like this show. But you end up, you know, trying to. What did I say? Hold on a minute. And although I know the script, sometimes what could be, although my lineage in a lot of these is quite short, I do notice a lot of people have, you know, probably a bit of a paragraph to emulate and remember it and all that. And if suddenly they put into their own bit of impro onto it and all that, they might just go back to the original lines and forgot, which invariably can be a lot more witty or funnier or whatever than what's on the page. Which brings me to the fact that you and I made a film.
We did. I was wondering when you were going to bring that up, and I could feel it coming along, lurking in the shadows. Yes, Dr. Eisenhurst, wasn't it?
Which sounds like a lube paper.
It does, doesn't it? It smells like an ointment. Which was a great day. That was such a strange
Which is,
fun day.
how long is it? 25 minutes?
Yes, roughly, yeah.
25 minutes. And we had a good cast.
Sarah Mann.
Sarah Mann was in it. Brilliant.
Yeah, the good old Betty Swallows.
David Burton.
Yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
Jack the Ripper. I prefer Count, actually.
Count, actually.
But perhaps just the Count.
Count?
Yes, I come from a very long line of them.
Oh. I think you need an optician for poor eyesight, not a doctor.
You see, I am suffering from the anemia.
Well done! Shake!
Oh, that's better out than in.
Any itching? Quite a lot, actually. Ow. E. Ow. E. Ow.
Surprise! On y va! Oh non! Monnaie first, s'il vous plaît!
But of course, his story about asking out that really attractive girl in the who was on the side of the cast, who was sort of like acting as a PA to Judy Garland. Asked her out, ended up going to Piccadilly Circus waiting for her, she never turned up.
Oh, yeah.
Liza
I
Minnelli.
was going to say.
Got stood up by Liza Minnelli. It was like,
I was
topped us all. We were trading stories around the table there.
Yeah, because we had that nice lunch, didn't
Yeah, it was very good. It was
Yeah,
served by
yeah.
an
Very
Orthodox.
generous. And and we're all sitting there and all that, and all these things. This is what is so nice. It all comes out. I did one of our first Marc and Chums with him, with Betty Swallows.
Yes.
But the Eisenhurst thing. He played Jack the Ripper. I played Dr. Eisenhurst.
Yes.
Sarah played the maid, who was. I mean, the whole cast were brilliant. I mean, actually, I wasn't too bad myself because after
You were all right.
And of course, you played
Dracula.
Count Dracula.
Yeah. Which was great fun.
Oh, what a rare beauty. Madam, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Dracula, Count Dracula.
The doctor is ready.
Forgive me, but have we not met each other before?
I don't think so. I would have remembered a arrow-eyed gentleman like you.
Too kind. Here, I picked this for you earlier.
And you came in like you were about to go for a state dinner at Buckingham Palace. With the dicky bow and all white and all
The
this.
full Bela Lugosi.
You went full Bela Lugosi, a bit taller than Bela Lugosi.
Just a bit, yeah.
Yeah. And did you have a bit? I can't remember. Did you?
No, I was clean shaven for
You
that
took
one.
it,
I
yeah.
had to take it off.
Yeah. So, what was your experience of doing Dr. Eisenhurst apart from sitting around eating sandwiches?
Pretty much insanity, wasn't it? Yeah. Such a beautiful but bizarre building.
Mm.
It's still like it's stuck in a time warp. It's literally like
It is of that period.
Werther's mansion, isn't it? It's just
It's a bed and breakfast.
a bed and breakfast that's owned and run by Russian Orthodox priests who's just serving us these sandwiches and wine and full
I wonder if they do Marc and Chums. They turned it
I'm
down.
not surprised.
He was sitting there, the radio. I was sitting there. Oh, they're just tuning up. No, you played it. So I played Dracula a couple of times for but in different sort of forms. One form I played Nosferatu.
I've seen that one, yes.
Which is, when I had the big beard. And it turned out not bad at all. It was silent, no fucking lies.
Brilliant.
Filmed in colour, converted to high definition film noir. You came. Well, I'm quite tall, but I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I spent most of it just crouched down trying to get to people's eye levels.
And
That's why I'm not suited to camera very much.
do you remember you had this sort of an affair with Betty?
Yes, yes.
Oh. Now tell us about that.
Well, it's possibly my hardest role that I've ever had. Maybe
I had to have a gulp.
Yeah, seducing Betty Swallows. That was.
You have to do a few takes for that.
Just a few.
Apart from that, what was the problem with Betty? Not that she's a problem.
Say it was a fragrant problem.
Herbal supplements and return in a week, no?
Perchance you take a stroll in the evening, in the moonlight. I find it very invigorating.
I think I will have a stroll in the park tonight, around 9 o'clock.
Ah, indeed. Yes, the flowers are particularly pungent this time of season, yes. Thank you.
Just for what? It was just it kept on.
Honestly, they look like fucking camera lenses, I can tell you.
Different ones.
And it kept on moving around. And you're halfway through doing a bit. What
It
happened?
just keeps on. Kept on falling off of her
And
face.
you're going, no. Come off it. See, that's what I like about outtakes and all that. And we're sitting in the back.
Plenty of
We're
those,
sitting in
yeah.
the back watching you lot, and I'm sitting
Just
there
creasing
acting
up.
wetty, my God. Let's come off again.
Swearing at them.
I will be free tonight in the park around 9.
Yes, the flowers are particularly pungent this evening.
Yes, cut from the start, please. Yeah, I think you've lost your mole, have you, as well?
Yeah. I didn't even notice that.
That's the first. It's too sweaty.
If it goes,
messy.
Right, ready? Action.
That's better out than in. And that's better off. It's only been 10 minutes since my mole fell off. It's getting
falling amongst the biscuits.
Stephen, how many times you said, "Oh, let's have a few nice outtakes." There's a whole program's worth
You're not
there,
going to
isn't
with
there?
another mole.
Your fucking mole has come off again, darling.
I just stick it on and get that bouffant wig.
Oh, yeah.
There's one particular.
Frightful look I've ever seen.
One particular. I mean, of course, Dr. Ison has a slight problem, doesn't he? He has a fetish.
Just a fetish, yeah. That's what you can call it. Yeah.
What's that fetish?
I kept on just. Yeah, I don't know where this script came from. But
Voila.
That latte glass was from the old ship I nicked when we did a rehearsal. We did a rehearsal with Sarah. Now you couldn't go to that.
No. I had COVID.
Yeah.
I caught that bastard thing there.
She's better now.
Yeah.
Bringing up, it might be a gold watch.
That'd be fourth one now.
Yeah, but I tell you, it was a hoot. And you just came with this one particular scene. Now tell me about the scene when I have to bend over in front of you.
Oh, for God's sake. I was amazed that you could make any sound out of it. Yeah, bending over and farting right in my face. It was
Yeah, but there was something about, which I suffer from anyway, but there's
the teeth, the fake teeth, yeah.
trying to... Well, you
bastards.
it was in such a tight close-up. You like that. He's got the camera behind me and all that, and I'm moving my arms backwards and... And God knows how you kept a straight face, trying to get these fucking things, and I'm going, Hold on a moment.
Fantastic.
Let's have a look at you.
Oh.
You don't seem to have a reflection.
No.
That's a guinea.
A guinea?
Yeah, it's a guinea. Because it was a sort of snide, wasn't it? You know. Bit. And of course, he gets them in. What happens? One of the fucking tops.
I went to the Old Vic not that long ago and saw a production of The Tempest, and I can't remember the name of the actor now, but the chap playing Prospero couldn't hear a word he was saying throughout the whole thing.
A lot of the time, sitting on stage, everyone's mic.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's just, it's mad. I don't understand why these skills seem to be...
Well, no, if you go to mic, everyone's going to be on stage, of course projection will go immediately, so they can just... and all that. I mean, I sometimes, I rarely go to theatre. I will come and see your show.
I'll hold you to that. See if I can get you
a what you like, darling, I can tell you. But elements of that, for me, I don't do stage anymore because I don't think I've got. They talk about stage presence and all of that. But if you're quite a demonstrative person, which obviously I am occasionally, and all that. The one thing I was taught by Peter Purvis from Blue Peter, who also did Doctor Who. William Hartnell said, "Telegram, that's the one." So you've got to bring it all down, where you can see something. I often occasionally have Radio 4 on, listen to the Archers, and they all seem to be shouting, and we was on the radio, they're shouting to the gods.
Yeah.
And not normally all that good in delivery. Not saying I'm brilliant, I'm just saying, well, that just doesn't sound real.
Mind you, who was the Archers just retired?
She's
103?
Yeah, 103.
That's a career to have, isn't it?
Peggy Archer.
That's it, yeah. God, imagine being able to do that role for that long.
Well, it's 60 odd years.
It is.
Probably more. Yeah.
That's what I'm wanting. A long-running series, something that can bring the money in.
Bring back Crossroads, darling.
Yeah.
Or you could do Meg Mortimer, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Or Huey McPhee.
Yeah, God.
Could you do a rather good accent?
I'm not bad. I consider.
Which is something because you do come from Scotland.
I do come from Scotland.
Although your Scottish accent is actually quite anglicised now.
It's completely anglicised. It was well, it had to be when I first moved down here. I moved down here when I was 13. God, that's a long time ago now.
Did you just notice the way he's first?
Aye.
Were you brought up on the Bruins?
Aye. Jinx Clemens, Help Me Bob and all that. So all that.
All brothers are stately, well, you know. A Cruisy dumpling.
But I moved down here and the first friend that I ever made was a poor lad called Rafi Ahmed Sheikh from Pakistan, who was so pleased with himself that he'd just learnt English and could understand. He was sitting down and I came in, sat down and said, "All right, lad, fit like here you go." What the hell's going on? So I had to learn to speak properly, as they say.
Receive pronunciation.
Yeah. So that
but you have a great gift, which occasionally I have as well, to be able to emulate different accents. You know, the Ekislak and all that. Those are quite simple.
Yeah.
You know, Scottish. I remember a Scottish friend said to me, and of course you know my
You've got Scottish heritage yourself, don't you?
I certainly have there. I was doing that, very Gordon Jackson.
I was just thinking that, yes. My lord.
And he said, that's the worst Scottish accent. And I said, you do know what a Sinclair is?
Aye. And
he said to me, and I said, listening to your accent, can I tell you you've got a dreadful English RP accent?
Well, I got the same sort of treatment once when I was doing, again, it was the Macbeth production. I got a review that said some very questionable Scottish accents being presented by this young actor. I sent them an email saying, just for your information, not every Scottish actor is fucking Glaswegian. Got an edit the next day. Fantastic performance by genuine Scott Murray.
5 stars?
Aye.
You can see me on TripAdvisor. No, it is difficult, isn't it? It's an easy thing to do. If it's your intrinsic way of
Well, I'm from Aberdeen. I'm for that neck of the woods. So even now, I did an audition not that long ago and they were wanting Scottish.
Can you see how Scottish he's gone now?
It's a game my pals play now, they try to...
Well, you know, Barrowman from Doctor Who was born in Scotland and has an American accent, but as soon as he's with all this, it's suddenly turns. Abba bloody do. I went there when I was working with Bucks Fizz, you know, the pop group. Interestingly, I said, we've got to go to Stonehaven.
Okay. It's where I'm from, Why?
Because
no offence to anybody from Stonehaven.
It's from the 60s. Best fishing ships.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The Haven Chipper. Inventor of the battered Mars bar.
Did they really?
They did.
So you can blame Stonehaven, which is over the border.
They ended up on Kilroy Silk.
Well, because they deep fucked them up.
Yeah.
With that Libertine and covered it in batter.
Oh. To the shame. Yeah. Inventing of the pneumatic tyre and battered Mars bar. Stony. Fantastic.
Did the pneumatic tyre come from Stonehaven?
Yeah. Don't pretend you're interested in that.
You know, it's like a walking Reader's Digest. You should be a magazine by the logo. Open it up, all that's make a long read.
Keep me on the table, a dentist.
Friend, do you remember that song?
Oh, the People's Friend.
The People's Friend. And my late Scottish grandma would sit there and she'd go, there's a lovely, I'm going to try that cockaleekie.
Oh, aye. And the romance story inside, doesn't it just get you there? Christ.
We could probably do a film in Scotland.
Couldn't we? Probably shouldn't, but we could.
So, what brings, after this coming Christmas period, where you know what I'm doing?
Aye, you're back on the Father Christmas, not Santa. You're welcome.
Because he does watch my shows. He does watch.
I've worked with you. You
Not
nearly
a fucking
chewed our heads
comment.
off.
I take my return to that was shit.
I did end up doing Father Christmas at Phileas Fogg's. Well, with Dan and I both. Dan was Father Christmas.
No, because that's when I walked out.
It was. Well, no, the next year.
Oh, was it? But
They
they're
still
still
doing it,
it.
and I've got to say, it was one of the best things I've ever done in my life.
It's a technique.
I loved it. Just, it's amazing how, because you know what Dan's like as well, he absolutely hates children. Loads them.
Yeah.
But even he melted as soon as they walk in and they see you.
You had them all surrounded.
Well, no, they started doing it one by one.
Oh, right.
So there was about 3 grottos and 3 Father Christmases.
Because the one that I was using...
You just had all of them, yeah.
Yeah, but I had, when they did the TV advert,
Oh, yes, of course.
which unfortunately, due to, shall I say, contractual problems, I said, I don't mind you using it at all and all that. And I remember picking up the rest of my costumes because you and Dan brought them out for me. Do you remember?
Yep.
I said, I don't mind you using it at all, but that's for the TV. You've got to take, because they had me to the face of bar.
Had you on mugs and everything?
Fucking clocks.
Yes, I forgot.
Pens. Me doing that. Luckily, it wasn't like that. I could have looked like an artist.
Didn't sell a single. Yeah, that was a very weird. What was that?
But they spent a fortune on that advert, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they came out and said, we can't use it, you're not going to be here, we can't use it. And I said, well, for fuck's sake, they've spent all that money.
No.
And there I was, I didn't really want them to pay me any extra for it, but that would have been nice, you know, I said, continue with it, you know, because you spent that, and it's good for the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
Also, being the face of something, then you're sitting there playing Father Christmas, and the kids being so sophisticated, we're going,
who's that?
You don't look like him.
No.
You're not the real one. And you had your own beard? Or?
I did. I grew my own beard and dyed it white for it. But it was just some of the things that really melted my heart was those little kiddies who'd come in and they brought you a present.
Yeah, we've had this on many occasions. They bring you the one sweet they've got their same thing for you.
Because they think Father Christmas doesn't get a present on Christmas Day, so they bring it to you and you just want to.
Well, the last one we've just done with Simon, who another co-conspirator, and Simon and I speak the same language as we do when it comes down to that particular performance, is the fact, you know, that they're all individuals.
Oh God, yes. You've got to treat them as special.
And I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but they can spot an acrylic beard up a mile.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is that we ended up, Dan and I would paint our beards white and all that, but they ended up insisting that we wear these acrylic rubbish ones. So as a bit of fuck you, we would paint our beards underneath it, wear the acrylic ones, and then at the end of the thing, do you think the beard's fake? It looks fake.
So
they'd pull it down and there'd be a real one underneath. Is my beard warmer?
When we did that for Eisenhurst, my beard was out.
It was huge by that point.
And I did not blast it all out for you.
You did grow a very good beard. It was very quickly as well.
Well, I remember we did. I can't remember which one we were doing, and you had probably for Eisenhurst you'd shave.
Yes.
And you going back to the situation when you turned around and said, "Oh, don't worry about that, Mark. I'm the one, just like that." It does come back quickly.
It does. You just have to sneeze it.
Not a hair on her chest, darling. It all comes out here. And look, this is what I call real hair. Now Simon.
Did you?
Not Simon. Murray.
So no.
I've got Simon bloody confident now. I used to have hair like that. Look. You've got that to come.
Oh, great. Thanks for that.
So we come to the end of our lovely piece, and thank you. Thank
It's
you
been
so
an absolute
much.
joy doing
Were you a
this.
bit reticent about doing it, or
No, I know what you're like. It was just going to be a piss off.
is it a fucking Scottish? It's coming out loads now. Do you want to actually do it, the Scottish, for the rest of
I
the...
probably will. I'll just stick to this.
Mind you, their Northern's not bad either, is it? And your Dracula, go and give us a bit of your Dracula.
Oh God, where was it? I'm just basically just ripping off of Bela Lugosi because I couldn't quite do the Christopher Lee.
From the children of the
The children. What sweet music they make. It's camp as hell.
And Bela Lugosi died in poverty.
Yeah. Got that to look forward to.
I've got a little surprise for you.
Oh dear. What have you got now?
I know you love steak.
Yes.
You love an audience.
Mm-hmm.
A real one.
A real one.
Because it gets your adrenaline going, doesn't it?
Pumping.
And that adrenaline actually makes his beard grow quicker. But, in my little pocket, in my Max Miller outfit, what have I got here?
What's this?
I'd like to offer you the part of priest in the feature film Castle House. And
Oh, fantastic! Thank you.
Unfortunately, it's not paid, but...
Obviously not paid.
No, explain.
No pressure.
No, explain. It's per diems. It's only probably half day to 1 day.
Oh, fantastic.
In the same place.
Oh, wonderful. So we got to
Yes.
Yes.
You're playing a priest. He's got the costume. Remember, he's a big boy.
Yeah.